When feeding the ball to your practice partner to begin a rally, or when teaching a lesson to your student, doing it with a continental grip has some clear advantages over feeding the ball using a forehand grip such as semi-western or eastern. The main reason for feeding the ball with a continental grip is because you have more versatility, in the sense that you can send the ball either with topspin, more flat, or even with a little bit of slice. On the other side, using a forehand grip such as semi-western or eastern, the racket plane is a little bit closed, which kind of favors topspin. And especially if we rally with our partner, or teaching a beginning player, sending the ball with topspin is not ideal. Also, for rapid feeding, let's say you're a coach and teaching a group of players, and you do not want them to wait in line, using a continental grip, all right, so you want to have people moving fast, all right? Continental grip is ideal, especially when you're closer to the net. You can clear the net easier because your racket face is slightly open. On the other side, if you're using a forehand grip like semi-western or eastern, chances are that some of the balls will go into the net, like you see over here. So using a continental grip is something that you want to get used to if you're teaching, especially, or just for you to learn how to feed the ball to your practice partner. Following, I would like to show you some progression drills for you to learn how to feed the ball with a continental grip, and also we'll talk about some technical aspects that you should pay attention to. First step of our progression, we are going to begin just behind the service line. As you can see, I have a basket of balls next to me. I hold the racket, like I said, with a continental grip. By the way, in case you're not familiar with the continental grip, it's also called hammer, because you hold the racket as you could hammer a nail with the edge of it. So we have a continental grip ready. I would like you to pay attention to the fact that I keep a 90-degree angle between the forearm and the racket, as you can see over here. All right, so I have this 90-degree angle, and I want my wrist to be locked. I do not want it to collapse. I do not want to play with this, because sometimes when I teach people how to feed, they have a tendency to let the racket drop, and there's too much wrist movement. So one aspect that I would like you to pay attention is lock the wrist at the 90-degree angle and try to hold it steady. Obviously, that does not mean that you have to squeeze the racket hard. No, we want to keep a loose grip, but the wrist should be locked at 90 degree. So this is one aspect that I want you to really pay attention to. Second one, you want to turn about, I would say, 45-degree angle to the net. You see, so I have a square stance or semi-open stance, doesn't matter. The next important thing is the backswing. We do not want to start with the racket too far back. Imagine this would be the line of my shoulder. If I would draw a line from my shoulder to the side fence, that line would be parallel with the net, but I want the racket to be slightly behind that line. So we want a short backswing. One more time, I want to review. 90-degree angle between the forearm and the racket, lock the wrist at this angle. You want a short backswing, so we want to start with the racket just behind us. Next, I have a ball ready. I hold it with the palm up. See, I'm relaxed. And what I'm going to do, I will lift the ball gently, and as the ball comes down, I want to come with my racket and push it. I want you to notice that I'm not going to swing. I'm just going to push the ball, just like I said earlier, and the contact between the racket and the ball would be with the racket face, as you can see, slightly open. I would say about 10-20 degrees. So I lift the ball and I push, and I want to send it over the net. You notice that I have no follow through. I'm not going to finish like this, like we would on a forehand. Again, I have a short backswing. I push the ball and I stop, kind of facing with the racket in the direction where I send the ball. So one more time. Key elements: short backswing, continental grip, lock the wrist, lift the ball, and push it. You notice that my racket face kind of faces up at the end. All right, so we practice this. Get used to swinging, sending the ball, pushing it over the net, locking the wrist at 90 degree. So practice this in the beginning. Don't worry about anything else. By the way, one aspect that I didn't mention earlier is that you want the elbow, the dominant elbow, to be close to your body. You don't want it here, you want it close to your body. So from here, it's more like, imagine that your arm is just like the pendulum of a clock, where the elbow is close to you, the arm is close to you, and obviously we have the racket held in a continental grip and locked at 90 degrees. Okay, so short backswing, just push the racket. You notice that contact, the racket face is slightly open. Nice and easy, finish with the racket in the direction of your target. I'd like you to practice this a few times until you feel comfortable, and then make a step back. So we're going to step away. From here, we'll hit 3 successful balls over the net. All right, so we practice 1, 2, 3, and we'll continue doing that. So every time you hit 3 balls over the net, make a step back. All right, so we'll continue that, again emphasizing short backswing, toss the ball gently, push it with the racket face slightly open. That is going to happen because of your continental grip and racket locked at 90-degree angle. So practice this, and after every 3 successful balls that you get over the net, make a step back. So let's go ahead. And here we are at the baseline. Now the baseline, if you noticed, as we increase the distance between the net and us, obviously we have to take the racket a little bit further back so that we have more room to swing at the ball. Again, short backswing still, lock the wrist at 90-degree angle, continental grip, racket face in the preparation is kind of facing forward, but at contact, as I swing, it will be slightly open. This will make the ball go kind of flat, I would say, with very little spin, and as a result it will land, it will bounce, and it will come to my practice partner or to my student with very little spin, which is going to be ideal to start a rally or to feed the ball. So let's go ahead and practice a few more. So I'm taking the racket further back this time, still the elbow is close to my body. I'm going to push, and you see how I noticed, you see how I finish with the racket in the direction of my target with the edge. So I'm not going to follow through like I would on the forehand. So just push and finish with the racket in the direction of the target. Keep your body kind of balanced, slightly, I would say 45-degree angle towards the net, and just push the ball, trying to impart as little spin on it. All right, and obviously you want to transfer the weight from the back foot. This is one aspect that I forgot to mention. As you prepare to feed the ball, your weight is on your back foot, and as you swing, you transfer the weight and end up with the weight on the front foot. So this is the progression. The next aspect, after you get used to, because by the way, this is not going to be something that you will feel comfortable doing. Once you get to the baseline, you're going to practice this over and over until you have good control of your wrist, and you notice that your feet are, I would say, just over the net. This is the next step that you have to focus on. You want to send the ball so that it goes about 3 feet more or less over the net, and the landing will be somewhere just beyond that service line. So let's go ahead and talk about that next.